Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunshine Soap and Candle Company. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make a whipped tallow body butter. Now this will be the last tallow themed formulation that I share with you for a while, as this one is the third one that I'm sharing. So I have a tallow facial and body balm, a tallow emulsified body butter, and a tallow soap 2 ways. I also taught a tallow facial cream class. You can purchase the recording of the class over on my Patreon campaign if that's something that you're interested in. And you can also access all of my tallow formulations in my tallow collection over on my campaign. This tallow series, by the way, this tallow collection was inspired by patron requests. A few months ago, I had a live hangout where we discussed all things tallow, and I got to formulating with tallow, and I'm sure glad I did because I think it's been helpful for a lot of you out there, and it was something new for me to learn about and explore, which I always really like. If you're new here or you've never had a chance to check out my campaign, I really hope that you'll take some time to do so. I'll go ahead and place the link to my campaign in the description box below. Not only can you access all of the tallow formulations, you can access everything I've ever published dated back to 2019. So we have hundreds of weekly tutorials and formulas for you to take advantage of over there. Just at the $5 level, you have access to almost everything. And at the $7 level, you have access to everything I've ever published. So it's a great way to connect with me and other makers. We're still offering coupon codes upon sign up to my favorite suppliers like makesy.com and onlinelabels.com. So I hope that you'll come on over. Those coupon codes really make your sign up very well worth it. And it's a great way to connect with me and other makers. All right, let's get started. All right, so this is an anhydrous formulation, meaning there's no water. This is a butter and oil-based formula. So by nature, it's gonna feel a little heavier and a little more skin protective and more emollient. By nature, it's also gonna have a little bit more of a greasy texture to it. And I'm gonna talk to you about the different oil choices I've used here to make it a little more fast absorbing and less greasy. However, if you want something that absorbs readily into the skin, please check out my emulsified tallow body butter when you're done watching this video as well. There are a place for both of these body butters on the market or in your skincare routine. So I encourage you to try both and see which one you like the best. So we are going to start out by weighing off some hard tallow. This is hard tallow, also known as suet. And I got this one from Tender Loving Tallow. I'll go ahead and place the link in the description box. This has been a really good quality tallow, and it's super hard, which is exactly what we want for this whipped body butter, because we want it to be able to stand up and be somewhat substantial when the finished product is all done. So first thing we're going to do is weigh off our tallow. So this is going to be mostly tallow in this formula. I'm just making a 100 gram batch today. All right. I'm going to go ahead and set my tallow aside. And then we're going to go ahead and weigh off the liquid oils that we're including in this formula. Now the liquid oils are going to help this tallow to whip up and stay light and fluffy so that we don't have a product that is too hard when everything cools down, and also add a bit of luxury and other skin loving properties that we're going to talk about. But before we add the oils, we're also going to be adding a little bit of cetyl alcohol. And I'm going to add it to this container because we're going to melt the cetyl alcohol with our liquid oils in this container. So we're using cetyl alcohol for a few reasons. It's going to help the formula to be a little bit stiffer and more substantial and less likely to deflate. And it's also going to add a nice and silky, airy skin feel and help the glide factor. You could use stearic acid here, although tallow is already high in stearic acid, but you could use stearic acid in place of this if you like. Or just a little more tallow. But I really like the skin feel of the cetyl alcohol, so that's what we're gonna go with today. Now to this cetyl alcohol, we're gonna be adding in a handful of liquid oil. So the first oil that we're adding in is some avocado oil. Avocado oil is a great emollient. So this avocado oil is going to help with how it glides over your skin and how emollient it feels. It's also a fast absorbing oil, so less likely to feel as heavy or greasy on your skin. And it is full of antioxidants and potassium, which are great for your skin. It's a relatively inexpensive oil also. So we're going to go ahead and add in our avocado oil. The next liquid oil we're going to be adding is some flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is also high in antioxidants. This is fresh cold pressed flaxseed oil. You can replace this with any other light carrier oil that you have or that you want to use instead. This, however, is going to give you a more fast absorbing formula, and it's high in antioxidants. So we're going to go ahead and add this one in. Has a nice golden color associated with it as well, which is beautiful. By the way, if you didn't want to use tallow for this formula or you don't have any, shea butter would be your next best substitute. To this, we're going to be adding in some jojoba oil. Jojoba oil, again, is a very luxurious oil. You guys see me use this a lot. It's very close to our own skin sebum, and it's fast absorbing. It's good for skin balancing. So a great one to use for anhydrous body butters. Okay, and we are going to be using a bit of fragrance, but I'm not going to be adding that until after I melt everything down. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and melt down my cetyl alcohol and warm up these oils, and I'll bring you back for the next step. All right, now that that is fully melted down, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of our fragrance oil. And today I'm going to be using the Bum Bum dupe, the Sol de Janeiro Bum Bum dupe. This one is by Midwest Fragrance Company. It smells amazing. It smells to me almost exactly like the original, just slightly less strong, but all the notes are there. It's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, and then we're going to be using a little bit of an extract. So I'm going for, I guess, a little bit of a tropical theme with this, because this one smells very beachy, but not like in a sunscreen way, just more like, I guess more like suntan oil, if you've ever smelled that. Different than sunscreen. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and add in 1% of banana extract. So I got this banana extract. It's oil soluble from Formulator Sample Shop. You want to make sure anything you're adding into this is oil soluble, any extracts. And it is also high in antioxidants. So we're going for a very high antioxidant formula here. So we won't be adding in any vitamin E because there's plenty of antioxidants from the other oils and extract that I'm using. So antioxidants help to fight against free radicals and oxidative damage and stress to your skin and your body. So it's always a nice thing to add. So we're just going to give that a good stir. Setting this aside, I'm going to come back to my hard tallow now, and I'm just going to place this in the microwave for a few seconds to soften it up. This trick is really helpful for graininess. If you've ever done a anhydrous body butter like this and you go to blend it in with your hard butter, like your shea butter, for instance, or your tallow, sometimes it can be hard to get that shea butter or hard tallow completely homogeneous because it's just a little bit too hard at room temperature to get smooth without warming it first. So you end up with little pieces of hard shea butter or tallow. So a good trick or tip of the trade here is to go ahead and warm this up in the microwave for just a few seconds to soften it. It will help everything blend up perfectly smooth. I'll bring you back for the next step. All right, so this has been slightly softened. I did it in 10 to 15 second bursts until it looks like this. There's no melting actually happening here. It's just softened. So it's easy to break through. And by the way, if you're using a tallow that is softer than this, even a little bit softer than this, you're gonna get a different result. So tallow comes in different variations of firmness. Some of it's very soft and almost soupy, and some of it's very hard like this. I would definitely recommend a harder tallow. So this is definitely a solid at room temperature and kind of hard to break through. It's the consistency of shea butter, a little bit harder than shea butter, but still melts on contact with the skin. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and use the stick blender. I have a little whisk attachment onto it. If you guys like this stick blender, I have it in my Amazon store. The link to my Amazon store is also in the description box, but it comes with this little whipper attachment, which is nice when you're doing a small batch like this. I'm just gonna go ahead and break up my tallow just a little bit to get started. So now we have kind of a smooth paste going on with the tallow, which is perfect. So we're just going to slowly start incorporating our liquid oils. Now whipping can be a bit of a challenge as well, because you're also using a lot of friction, which does create heat. So you just want to make sure that you are getting this whipped, but also not over whipping it. So that's the challenge with products like this. Okay, so this is still looking a little too fluid, so it's a little warm still, sitting at about 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're just gonna give that stick blender a little bit of a rest. You guys will see this come up to a nice and fluffy texture. But what I'm gonna do now, this is another little trick you can use to decrease greasiness and help with absorption. I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of arrowroot powder. Actually, it's quite a generous amount of arrowroot powder. So we're just going to add in our arrowroot powder. It's going to seem like quite a bit for the amount of body butter that we're making, but trust me, it's the perfect amount. You don't have to add the arrowroot powder. I just find it does help with absorption. All right. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and give this a little bit of a stir by hand, and then I'll go in with the mixer just to make sure that we don't have any clumps of arrowroot powder, but I want to do this first so I don't get a poof of arrowroot powder. So we're sitting at right around 80 degrees, and I definitely see that it's starting to stiffen up. Just in that 3-degree difference, we're starting to get a little bit more of a thicker product. So I'm going to go ahead and give this some more time to whip and get nice and fluffy. But as you can see, it's already holding stiff peaks, but I just want to whip a little bit more air into it. Okay, so I've done a little bit more whipping here. We're sitting at right around 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And for reference, it's about 70 degrees in my house right now because it's still morning time, but it'll get to around 76 in my house. So I just wanted to show you this light and fluffy texture that we're getting. Just gorgeous. So this will stiffen up as it cools a little bit as well. So this is a great formula in the way that it's not, it will melt in extreme heat. It will melt probably if it starts to get over about 82 degrees. I would say that's kind of your marker or your danger zone. So I definitely would not ship these in the upcoming summer months, but this would be a great one to have around in the fall and winter for shipping. So keep this one in your back pocket. So you definitely want to get this into your piping bag while it's still like fluid enough to pipe. So we're just going to go ahead. I'm using this one with the kind of star tip, I guess. So perfectly pipeable right now. Look at that beautiful whipped texture that we're getting. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill this up. This is a little 4-ounce PET container, so we may have more volume than that just because we've whipped air into the product, but we'll see how it goes. And there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Just a beautiful whipped consistency. And again, this will get a little stiffer over the next 24 hours. So it does hold up better than some formulas that contain more liquid. And again, that shea butter, the texture of your shea butter is going to make a difference in the overall consistency of your finished product. That is so gorgeous. Now I want to compare this one. Again, this one will get a little bit stiffer over the next 24 hours, but I want to compare this one to one that I made when I was experimenting with my ratios with a little more liquid oils, and I have a lot of this, so I need to probably consider melting it back down and adding in some more tallow. But this one had more liquid oils, and although it has kept a nice and piped texture, you can see that as the temperature fluctuates in my house, some of those liquid oils are melting, like on the side here. You can see that. The product just melts a little bit, and we've got kind of some liquid oil or melted product down there. So although I did like the texture of this one, because it was so much like a whipped cream, I'll show you. It's a lot like a kind of a whipped cream texture. Actually, it's got a pretty good. I was almost there with this formulation. So you can play around with your ratios a little bit. And again, this one may be better for the winter and fall months. In fact, I'll go ahead and share this formulation with you over in the campaign as well as this one. I just think that this one overall is going to be a little bit more substantial. It's going to hold up a little bit more with shipping and things like that, and less likely to just like deflate on you than one that has more liquid oils like this. But you could totally use this one at home for your own use, or for winter and fall, you would have to experiment, but you could probably use this one for customers in the fall and winter months. But this is essentially the same formula. We just have more liquid oils in this one. See how it just kind of glides right in. The absorbency rate is fast compared to a lot of anhydrous products. So this has some really nice, good skin protective qualities to it, restorative, emollient, and nourishing and hydrating. That's why people like to use tallow. It's just very nourishing and hydrating. Locks the moisture into your skin and helps to soften and soothe. So there you have it, everyone. That's how you make a beautiful whipped tallow body butter. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me some questions and comments below. That really means a lot to me. Share this video with a friend, and why not subscribe to my channel? All right, everyone, catch you on the next video. Bye. Keep shining.